Most civilizations have a god, usually number two, a creator god, and a mischievous one as well. There are numerous creation stories, and there is a huge number of flood legends from across the globe. I'm going to speculate a bit and say it's likely that most ancient religions are mutations of the same original religious idea. I think that they all had a common core. What is said is that all religions have in common a set of core beliefs, and these include belief in a higher power, respect for others, and a sense of community. Now, these few are probably sufficient even today.
I believe they are.
But how we got to where we are today would require us to unwrap centuries of modifications to even start to figure out where it all began. Think about this. If Adam and Eve were the first humans, and we are all descendants of them, then shouldn't all ancient civilizations have the same concept of the God from the garden? The Eden story? Well, at least until we get to the part where Yahweh opposed human cooperation. The Tower of Babel somehow explains why agreement among humans was opposed by the God of the Bible. Yahweh said, if as one people, speaking the same language, they have begun to do this, then nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them. So I guess we are where we're supposed to be, at least according to the God of the Old Testament. So how can all the people of the earth worship one religion, as they are opposed by the one God of that religion? Go figure. They couldn't explain something, why there were so many variations. Christianity today would make a great parable for the Tower of Babel, because there are thousands of different varieties of Christianity. It seems the only thing sincere Christians agree on is that they all love Jesus. And look, even before the Bible was written, there were buildings taller than the Tower of Babel. The Great Pyramid of Giza is much older, much taller. So why didn't the God of the Bible stop humans from working at Giza? Who knows? It's just a story. Some will say, we all don't worship the same because of the flood. Well, that doesn't make sense. The descendants of Adam and Eve via Noah should have preserved the idea of God according to their personal experiences. After all, there were only 8 of them. Obviously, amnesia set in. And what thoughts did they have of God who just destroyed the whole world? Most societies preserve some concept of God. Even those with a pantheon of gods tend to perceive a higher God of the gods. Many societies also preserve some of the same stories as the biblical ones. Same thing, only different. In the Old Testament, the concept of God was applied to anyone that could terminate your life or directly affect it. Numerous times, Yahweh defines himself in those exact terms. Now in Deuteronomy, he says, now see that I, even I, am he, and there is no God beside me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. Historically, monotheism is Judean belief, and at its earliest is traced to time of Ezra shortly after the Jews returned from the Babylonian exile. 5th century. Must have been rewritten to support a Yahweh-only agenda. You can even see the name of Yahweh in Genesis, even before he is introduced in Exodus. Some form of monotheism is found in so many religions throughout the world, so it is common. However, long before the religions like Christianity came into existence, there were different gods who were different from the ones worshipped today. And they were in ways very similar to each other, in spite of separation by thousands of miles and the different people worshiping them. The agricultural revolution led to the rise of cities, and the rise of cities led to the emergence of a ruling class. The ruling class had to justify its privileged position somehow. Thus, gods were introduced. You've got to understand that the very concept of separation of church and state that we take for granted in the very modern world is just that, a very modern concept. Religions have always existed to justify the privileged status of society's elites. Whether we're talking about the pharaohs of ancient Egypt who ruled as living gods, or the crowned heads of the pre-modern Europe, who ruled by divine right given to them by God. Now, up until less than 300 years ago, church and state were always one. Yeah. We have a need to rationalize everything. We don't. And we prefer sound, logical explanations. When we can't find sound logic, well, we'll accept flawed logic. And when we can't find flawed logic, we'll accept BS. That's how ideas flourish. It is when sound logic and even flawed logic isn't available, we'll make it up.
Just more food for thought.
Thanks for watching this and all our videos. Please like, share, and subscribe. And until we meet again, stay curious, fellow travelers, and have a great day.